my name is Cal and I'll be your coach for today. I want to talk to you about running. Running has taken off massively over the past few weeks. Everybody seems to be running at the moment, and I think that is because it is possibly the simplest form of aerobic exercise, in that you need some shoes, some clothes, and you are out the door. Just because it's a simple form of exercise doesn't mean that it's an easy form of exercise. So I've got 5 things to keep in mind when you're starting to run. So my first tip is don't run too far. If the furthest you've ever run is in a charity 5k or way back when you were at school doing cross country, then don't start out with those sort of numbers in mind when you start running this week or next week. If you have done a run recently, then maybe take 75% of that distance. And if you haven't done any runs recently, then start at the 3k mark. Yeah, it might not take you that long and it might not be that demanding, but it's the right thing to do. You want to finish these runs with a sense of achievement, not a sense that you're absolutely dying. So pick a distance that you can finish and feel, oh, I could probably have gone a bit further then, rather than picking a distance where you're crawling home over the finish line. So my second tip is don't run too fast. Whether you're a beginner or you've done some running before, not every run has to be a race. They're not all trying to hit PBs. Some of them are training or recovery runs, and knowing the difference between those is super important. Much like when we go to the gym, we're not always trying to hit the heaviest weight we've ever lifted or the most reps we've ever lifted. We're picking a weight that we can manage across a number of sets, and achieving them with good quality is how we make progress. Running's no different. We want to go out and run for a distance and a speed that we can achieve with proper form, and there are a number of ways that you can make sure that you're not running too fast. You can use a heart rate monitor and try and keep your heart rate between about 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. So for me, that's around 150 beats per minute. Or if you don't have a heart rate monitor, or if you want to learn to do it more intuitively, then there's a great breathing technique that you can use. So if you're using the breathing technique on your in-breath, so as you're breathing in, try and take 4 strides, and then as you're breathing out, try and take 4 further strides. If you're not able to breathe in that pattern, then you need to slow yourself down and bring your breathing rate down so that you can last for 4 strides per breath in and 4 strides per breath out. And on to the next one, don't run too often. If you're new to running, then don't try and run every day of the week. Both your joints and your muscles aren't used to this amount of volume, and you will start to pick up little niggles. Good thing to think about is your total weekly volume should never increase by more than 10% per week. So if you started off in week 1 doing 2 5k runs, which is 10k in total, the next week don't run further than 11k. This could be split across 2 runs, so it could be a 5 and a 6k, or you could do 2 3ks and a 5k to make 11, but don't exceed that jump of 10% per week. This doesn't mean that you can only train once or twice a week though. There's plenty of other modalities that you can use to keep yourself fit or strong, and that leads me on to my next point. My next point is don't neglect strength training. So now that you've picked up running as a new sport and you're really excited about it, hopefully, you'll want to do it lots. But your body's not used to that training volume, so you will need to have days off to recover. Including some strength training, whether it's in the format of bodyweight exercise or resistance training, will help improve your muscles and your tendons for running. So don't be put off by the word strength. That doesn't mean that you have to lift anything super heavy. Make plenty of progress at home without any weight at all. Loads of bodyweight exercises can be made harder by doing single arm or single leg or anything like that, and also by adding in tempo. Eccentric loading of the tendons and muscles is really shown to help with injury prevention. If you keep the other 4 tips in mind that I've given you before in this video, then you will enjoy running. You're not going too far, you're not going too fast, you're not hurting yourself, and you still will lead to progression. And improving and seeing yourself run further and faster is inspiring and is motivating. Don't turn running into a chore or something that's overly complicated or something that's overly difficult and hurting you. Anything you can enjoy, you're much more likely to do. Anything you're much more likely to do consistently is going to bring you progress, and that's the key. Get yourself out there, go for a few runs, but bear those things in mind and you will enjoy it.